Hey, hello, hi, I'm Aaron Orndorff, head of marketing at Recart. Welcome to the third of four Black Friday step-by-step events we've been running here at Recart. Now, if you've joined us for any of the one things before, whether holiday or otherwise, you know we try to keep it tight and focused. So I'm not even going to introduce all the wonderful, lovely people here to my right. Their logos are below. We do have some screenshots, just so you know, I'm being dead serious about that. Smart, good-looking crew to join us today, talking about how to keep the holiday momentum going. So I want you to have in your mind, not so much the pre or lead up today, but definitely the during. How do you keep that during momentum from Black Friday into the weekend, Cyber Monday, and then off from Cyber Monday into the rest of the holiday season? How do we keep the momentum going? That's the big idea. But really what all of this comes down to is I have tasked our illustrious presenters today to deliver a single principle with a single application and a single example. We have all thoroughly demolished that last rule. We have so many more than just one example each. There's going to be some beautiful through lines that I promise you we didn't even plan. But as far as the examples go, they better be dead set on the single application and the single principle, because every time we get together, our overarching goal is for us to deliver, and may you, dear participant, attendee, to take away with you one tactic, something you can go put into action to make your e-commerce business 1% better. We're all about those incremental, marginal gains here. So I want to put the onus not just on our presenters, but also on you. Get those screenshot fingers ready to grab it. If you've got note-taking, jot it down on your phone, on a piece of paper. If you don't leave here with at least one thing to go put into action in the lead up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then onward, we will have failed you, but even worse, you will have failed yourself. Now, there is a Q&A box to absolutely drop questions along the way. Our goal is to get through the first half of these presentations decks, take it down, and then just have a good rolling conversation for the second half of today. And to get us started, I swear I never do this. I am going first today. Because what I want to talk about is how to take advantage of the only time people want texts and emails from you. One of my favorite principles, especially when it comes to SMS marketing, is that every text you ever send, and this is also true of email, is a disappointment. This only becomes more true during the holiday season, because we all have friends, family, loved ones, people, humans that we actually want to hear from. And as we go into the holiday season, that desire for connection with our loved ones amps up all the more, right? So every time you send out a text, as fun or celebratory or great deal it might be, right? You're not the person they actually wanted to hear from, except there is this short window, this magical moment between the time that somebody gives you their money and then they get the thing they gave you their money for. And that's what I'm talking about with the only time people want texts and emails from you. So strap in. I'm going to give you, for the next 3-4 minutes, the most boring screenshots you've ever seen in your life, because I'm talking about transactional messages, not just the order receipt confirmation, that sort of thing, but in particular, guiding someone through the time between giving you their money, getting the thing they want, and knowing where that thing they want they gave you their money for is. So inside, and this is just a Recart screenshot, you can do this with any SMS platform, any email platform. These are the now 8 native Shopify fulfillment notifications that you can activate through any shipping provider and push into any email or SMS platform. And I want to play a little game of one of these things is not like the other. And here, I'll even make it a little bit easier right there. You see that? A little bit darker, right? Notice, pay attention to the ROI on this first SMS fulfillment notification. Now, the reason this thing is a little bit different from the rest is not because it's the delivery message, but because it's a 2-for-1. Now, this is from BlendJet, one of my favorite examples to show off anywhere. Absolute juggernauts. They send out this notification to get excited. It's been shipped, arriving soon, 1 day delay. Not when it's actually arrived, but simply a how to get ready for the thing you've given us money for. So you're capitalizing on that momentum, right? The super interesting thing is that this text doesn't actually send anyone to BlendJet's site. What it does is it sends them to a YouTube video all about how to master the product you've just ordered. So all the revenue you saw earlier attributed through that, that's click-only revenue for anyone who goes to YouTube through the, in our case, Recart link, and then makes their way back to the site within 1 to 7 days and completes a purchase. So that's still click-only revenue that I was showing you on the ROI front. Now, you can also do this in a bit more robust way. One should be thinking about if you've got time to set up another integration, or if you're not using another one of my favorites, Wonderment, to its full extension. These are essentially the same 8 notifications, but in this case, what BlendJet has begun doing recently is setting up fully branded landing pages. So it doesn't just take somebody to the USPS or UPS, just plain boilerplate. They actually get to control the experience, not simply for tracking your order, but also doing things like FAQs along the way. And you might also like to cross-sell to upsell in that prime moment when people actually want to hear from you. So what I want to have you walk away, if you take something from mine, is to send as many transactional, meaningful transactional and post-purchase text messages as you possibly can between Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and when those holidays actually hit. Now, next up, to actually keep this train rolling, and this is going to be the wonderful thing, you're going to see 2 overlaps between not only some of the examples, but also I absolutely think there's a better way than what I just showed you with BlendJet's YouTube, and I kid you not how perfect this tee-up is. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to hand it over to my good buddy Blake. Blake, can the people hear you?
They can. That was awesome, Aaron. You're speaking to my SMS loving heart, my transactional SMS loving heart. I've been spending time at Wonderment before this, so can definitely test that this stuff absolutely works. It's super exciting. But I wanted to kind of talk about another topic too. So I'm Blake and Pearl, I'm the VP of Marketing at Caro. And I want to talk about something that you can set up in literally minutes to keep the BFCM momentum going, but also think about how do we go into 2024 on a huge momentum up. And as we know, it's more important to squeeze every dollar that you can out of a customer to make them more profitable, because often in e-com now, customers are not profitable on that first purchase, especially if you're a lower AOV company. And this means that growing AOV becomes super important through complementary product offerings that can boost your hero products offering. So I want to talk about how to grow AOV and supercharge your hero product offering without actually spending a single additional dollar on inventory. So as I mentioned, customers, love your hero products, but also they're willing to buy other things too. And so Aaron was just talking about BlendJet. They're actually a customer that we work with here at Caro. And what's really cool about a company like BlendJet, and really any e-com company, is that they have this awesome hero product. So in this case, they're portable blenders. They retail for about $50 on average. But with BlendJet, they realized, a blender needs things that go into it. So customers buying, stuff like protein powders, frozen fruit, milks, they're going to Amazon, to Whole Foods, to Walmart, wherever they buy their groceries at. And this is a lot of lost AOV for BlendJet. And data shows that even outside of BlendJet, customers really want to buy all the complementary products if they can from one store. It's ease of use. It's the Amazon effect, if you will, creating a one-stop shop kind of marketplace. But there's some logistical hurdles that really come into play here, and why brands really haven't adopted this at scale quite yet. And just kind of name a couple of them. First of all, inventory and logistics can be expensive. In the case of BlendJet, thinking about how we're going to ship frozen fruit or have warehouse space to hold all of this stuff becomes really a logistical nightmare in a lot of ways. Also, creating these products themselves, I don't think BlendJet would say they're in the business of creating BlendJet oat milk, for example. Customers love, name brands that they already know and love, like Oatly, for example. So they want to be able to offer products that their customers already are familiar with. And then third, really going off and creating partnerships or wholesale agreements can be very time intensive, but also too really expensive, because order minimums have to be met. You have to go off and create these contracts. And then also syncing storefronts seamlessly can be a big challenge, if you need to get real-time inventory from one supplier back to your actual main site. So click to the next slide. But it doesn't have to be this way. And this is where collaborative commerce really shines. And so in just a few clicks, you can go from what BlendJet has here, just a single, hero product, to being able to offer all of these products in a robust marketplace, grow AOV, and actually even create recurring subscription revenue in their case, because they're selling consumable products. Click to the next slide. And so what we see here in this terrible fuzzy GIF that I apologize for is the BlendJet marketplace that Caro powers. And so they've actually ingested over 35 brands into their Shopify storefront without having to pay a single penny and have any of its inventory in a warehouse. So they're already offering the brands that their customers know and love, like BlendJet, like Soylent, like Oatly, PB2. They don't handle the inventory or warehousing, and they also just make profit every time a sale occurs through what's a supplier and a retailer relationship. So in this case, BlendJet is the retailer, and then the supplier will be any of these brands that you see here. There's a revenue split that occurs, but there's actually no inventory costs on BlendJet side. So it's just pure profit for them to be able to offer these products in their store. And then in the case of the supplier on this example, PB2, for example, they're actually getting in front of more ideal customers that are already looking to buy products to go in a blender. And then also too, they're acquiring that customer data, which really creates a great symbiotic relationship. And as I mentioned too, this is subscription revenue for BlendJet too. So they're growing AOV with each order, but then customers are being able to actually add that subscription on. So that creates recurring revenue. So it's a huge win for the AOV bump for BlendJet, and then also for the supplier as well. Click to the next slide. So coming together, what did BlendJet see through implementing collaborative commerce? 80% increase in AOV, 71% increase in customer lifetime value, and then creating 35 partnerships at scale in just a few clicks. No headaches of creating individual relationships with each of these brands, and they're able to sync it all seamlessly across their storefront. So it's super cool to be able to do this, to grow your AOV, complement your hero product, and give your customer that one-stop shop that they really want and crave. Click to the next slide. So if you do nothing else, I really encourage you to look at collaborative commerce to complement your hero products and grow AOV. At Caro, we make it super easy to tap into our network and do this across, your darling Shopify brands through Fortune 500 companies. But even if you don't work with Caro, to be able to think about how you can create partnerships with other brands to create complementary offerings to grow, your brand co-marketing reach, if you will, can be a really great strategy for you to grow your AOV this Q4, but also really to set you up for a great Q1 of 2024. So I recommend you think about leveraging collaborative commerce if you can, and really boost your hero offerings today. Aaron, I'll pass it back over to you, man.
First of all, people, that was not planned. Please believe me. Dude came in with that one, bam, right behind what I was going to tee up as well. BlendJet, yes, fabulous. I want to come back to this idea of AOV as well, particularly when we get to the second half of this. I want to sort of like bookmark it for myself. And the thought of like that growing importance of AOV, particularly as it relates to holiday where discount shoppers come in. And I almost have this idea of like stocking stuffers, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I already am. I already am. All right, next up, I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay from Okendo. Lindsay, looks like you're unmuted, ready to roll.
Ready to go. So hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Kolinsky, the Director of Marketing at Okendo. For those of you who aren't familiar with Okendo, we're a customer marketing platform that helps brands create what we like to call more super fans. So those are your customers that, your ideal customers are loyal to you. And not only are they going lifetime value, but they're also going to become some of your best marketing channels and mobilizing and helping with that brand advocacy. So today, our one principle in terms of how to create more super fans during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday is to collect zero-party data to drive stronger customer relationships. So I think zero-party data has kind of been a trend for the last 2 years or so. What is it? It's essentially data that your customers are giving you voluntarily about themselves, and having that data, especially, with cookies changing, Facebook changes, privacy changes, all of that, it's so much more important now to get this data directly from your customers in a trustworthy way, and then using that to power personalized communication throughout your entire journey to maintain a stronger relationship with them and to get them really to stay with your brand. So if you want to click to the next slide. So Okendo has a few ways that you can collect this zero-party data. So the first is reviews, which I think everyone's pretty familiar with the review, but I don't think as many people realize that it is an opportunity for you to collect this information about your customers. So here's an example, Scotch Porter, they are a men's beardwear brand. And if you look to the left, this is where you're going to see what we call customer attributes. And this is, in their case, age range, beard length, beard texture. This is all you need to know if you want to do future product recommendations, if you want to send content in terms of, how to take care of your long beard or how to do this. There's events in the area that you're hosting, all of this information that they're giving you is going to make sure. The other piece about this that's great is from a trust perspective, customers understand why you're asking them about these things because they probably looked at it when they were on your site during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? You're able to actually filter by these attributes. So if you're 35, you have a long beard, medium texture, you can filter by that, find this, Michael, this customer's profile and say, hey, he really liked this. We have similar attributes. This might be the right product for me. So it's also going to increase your conversions if you don't already have reviews and attributes set up before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Super important to capitalize on all that traffic. Click to the next. So here's just another quick example to give you ideas of just by industry or by your vertical, how you can customize these attributes. So here's Ilia Beauty. They're a huge enterprise beauty brand. And you'll see here, their attributes are more along skin type, skin tone, undertone, concern, and age range. So again, this is a ton of powerful information that you can collect about your customers. Again, things like product recommendations. Here's another product that goes really well with your, I believe this is a concealer with your or foundation, to add on top of that because you have light, medium skin tone, we know what to recommend you. Or again, content, ways to engage your customers, keep them going after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Don't let that first sale, be the end of it. So click. So here's another super exciting way to collect zero-party data. So this is quizzes. And a quiz is essentially, you'll see here, we have bed threads. They're doing a quiz, what color suits you best? Like, how can we help guide you to the right product? So you'll see here, they're asking questions like, what colors do you gravitate towards? I'm more neutral. I like this. And basically at the end of this quiz, they're going to recommend, like, here's a few products, here's a few colors that we think based on your answers are going to be best for you. And then you can add it directly to your cart. So what we generally see here is about 17 to 20+% conversion rate on someone who completes a quiz and then checks out. Also a great way to get email addresses logged, so you can keep engaging with that customer if they don't make the purchase then. But it's really great because, again, you can see, like, you now know what their style is. So if you know they're coastal and you're coming out with a new product, like, let this group know after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or here's things to complement what you bought. It's a great way to really personalize everything that's going on. And again, this is, whereas a review, you're kind of getting after they've made the purchase and, you have to wait until they've had time to talk about the product and to experience. A quiz, you're getting that information right on site as they're coming. So you can click to the next slide. So just a quick example of how this zero-party data can be utilized. So this is WAG, and you'll see they, on the review side, they collected information about the dog breed, the dog age, and then the eating habits. And then they continued after that and actually did product recommendations based on, hey, we know your Staffy Labrador mix loved this, or this is what their breed is. We recommend these other products as well. And again, these product recommendations work when it's based off of, like, the information about your customers. So not only did they get a 300% increase in placed order rate, but they also got an increase of 423% of revenue per recipient from these product recommendations that are powered by this personalized data. So click on to the next. So again, reviews are great, quizzes are great. We also do surveys as well. But I'm going to say for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if there's one thing to do, set up the quiz before, because you are spending so much money on, getting people to your website. You're going to have so many, so much holiday traffic that is the best opportunity to get that information right up front on the holiday and immediately continue that engagement after. So again, reviews are so important. Surveys are important, but I'd say if you had to choose one, a quiz is the way to go. With Okendo, you can get a quiz up in like a matter of days. BedThread saw an immediate ROI of 25% just from that. And that wasn't Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So get a quiz up. That is my one thing that you should do before Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
That might have been one of the clearest like explanations of zero-party data right at the top. Thank you for that. That is always, whenever we do this and someone talks about that, that comes in first party, zero party, etc., those sort of things. But that implementation too of embedded, the way it's there, you're not going someplace separately, the smoothness of that, the less, okay, again, all right, before I do any of that, Claudio is up next. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yarden from Varos is up next in the hot seat. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. And blown away by everyone's products and examples here. So the thing I'm going to talk about today, ahead of Black Friday, is there's this treasure trove of data that you can use that today you're probably not using, which is actually what happened to everyone else in the past few years, what happened to your competitors and to your peers, and also what is happening to them day by day. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as we know, in the weeks, months leading up to it and after it, is a roller coaster that's changing by the day. And if you know what to expect based off every day and you know what's going on across the market, then you can really, really save a lot of money when you're spending so much money on ads. So if you can click to the next slide, please. So a couple examples. So one, you can use Veros. Sorry for the screenshot here, but you can use Veros for seeing your exact competitor group, what happened based off cost per purchase or return on ad spend in the past few years in the period that you're trying to budget for. So really what you can do is you can actually understand what days had the most efficient return on ad spend or the most efficient cost per purchase, and you can plan out to spend more money on those days. So in that way, instead of just blindly saying in this week or in this month I'm going to put X amount of dollars, you can be a lot more strategic based off what happened historically to figure out what days to drive sales and higher ad spend and discounts to actually take advantage of the most valuable days instead of maybe spending on the more expensive days or just the flat days, because this stuff is really dynamic, and obviously there's a lot of historical data to this. I mean, Black Friday has happened many times, and if you multiply based off the other companies in your industry, you can really understand a lot more. So first is budgeting, and then if you can click the next slide, please. The second thing is around, as you're going, understanding what is going on sort of in real time, right? Because we can see that one day things all of a sudden got really expensive for you, and you weren't expecting that. And so you're trying to understand, was it due to you or was it due to the market? So using Veros, you can go in and you can actually see, okay, today, my cost increased by 15%. Was this something to me? Is my sale now working well? Is my creative now working good anymore that I need to change it? Or is this just something that, everyone put in money into the market and everything that I planned and I'm doing is okay? It just got more expensive because that's the dynamics of the macro condition. So this happens throughout the year, but it's incredibly magnified in this Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. So you need to really stay tight with what's going on. And if you could click to the next slide, please. Some actually tangible examples. So once you understand, once you go in, you see this big change and you understand, okay, if it was a macro change, if it was something that happened to everyone, don't get crazy. Like, don't start changing your creatives. Don't start changing your targeting strategy or your sales schedule, or things on your website that you think aren't converting anymore. It's none of that. It's actually just these ad platforms are an auction, and this is something that people put more money into the auction. So the only thing that you may want to change if things are getting too expensive is you may say, hey, maybe I'll go back and think about the slide, the first slide that I showed of. I'll go back. Let me go quickly figure out what is going to be a cheaper day from a macro perspective and put more money into the less expensive days. But other than that, don't start changing your tactics and your creatives and things like that. It'll only make it worse, and it's not happening because of that. It's happening because of macro conditions that you can't control. And when you understand that things aren't a macro change, then that is where you can really start doing your tinkering, right? So if you know for sure that your conversion rate isn't where you want it to be, or isn't where it usually is, or your click-through rate, then it's understanding what metric, what creative was specifically impacted, and go understand that something in your website isn't working, or something in your creative got fatigued, and so you can really go understand that and go update that. And so once you confirm that it's not a macro trend, you can on the fly go start testing things and go start fixing things. But again, do not just fix things without knowing that it's that it's not a macro change, because that will actually just hurt even more. If you click the next slide, please. So yeah, again, if I could leave you with one thing, it's really understanding, was it you or was it the market? And based off that question, there's very tactical things that you need to do. And you can make a lot more money if you're just keeping your eye on that.
Yarden. I thought for sure I was going to have the most boring but most important slide of this entire presentation. Here's a bunch of SMS fulfillment notifications. Wow, neat. Yo, if you people didn't get a screenshot of the left-hand side of here, don't change.
Yeah.
Oh, get that, put it as your background on your screen, make your media buyers put it up in Slack of like, here's the things like to not change during especially during the volatility of the holiday season. Oh my goodness. Yeah, pedigree from my agency days just makes me want to say, go tattoo this back of your eyes. Oh, thank you, sir. All right, and now rounding us out, Claudio, video wise, take it away, good sir.
Hey, Aaron, thanks for having me. So what we're going to do with the principle is using video UGC with the purpose of clearly answering your consumers' questions and communicating your product's value proposition. Click, please, Aaron. And what I'm about to share with you, these are 4 stores. They're all different sizes. We're coming from like $400 million a year to as low as like, I think several $1 million a year. Whenever we work with VideoWise, we A/B test everything for our clients. And last year before Black Friday, we tested these 4 stores, and these are some of the results that they've been seeing just before Black Friday, because they were getting ready for that holiday season. And it's very practical information that I think the audience will appreciate. So click, please. The first one is Dr. Squatch, amazing soap, amazing company. We're talking Super Bowl style ads, and they had a lot of content that weren't actually showing it almost anywhere. And we ran a bunch of A/B testing. And this is the variation that drove everything to the roof. They've actually seen 3.2% increase in revenue per session in their first 30 days. Now, remember, Dr. Squatch is a brand that's doing over $300 million a year. It's a significant jump in revenue. And all they did was leveraging their TikTok videos, using VideoWise to place that video carousel, which has dynamic content on their page, and it loads shoppable videos. It was just crazy. Since then, they've been doing $750K in revenue at almost 10% conversion rate of those shoppers that purchased at $750K. It was mind-boggling. If you're going to go to Dr. Squatch homepage today, they haven't changed it. It's been a year and they haven't touched it. Like they were like, this works. We're not going to even touch it. They're maybe like going to upload like sometimes different content, but this type of social proof on the homepage worked extremely well. And why did it work so well? Because they were answering the question, why would I purchase Dr. Squatch? What's so special about this men's soap? How is a company doing hundreds of millions of dollars selling men's soap? Well, it's high quality men's soap that they're selling, first of all. And all that UGC just clearly showed the product's value proposition, that it uses high quality ingredients, it smells great. Look at the celebrities that are using it. And it just provided that social proof. And they also came up with this great name, Watch Squatch, for that entire section. So this is how Dr. Squatch increased their revenue per session before Black Friday and just killed it last year. And they've been with us since. Click, please, on the next one. This is a smaller brand. This is a skincare brand. It's a much smaller brand. They're more present in retail and in Walmart. But they've seen a 25% increase in their overall site conversion rate. They went from 3.1 conversion rates, overall site conversion rate, to 4.1 in their first month. And the way that we've done this is the strategy was very simple. They're selling an eczema treating skincare condition like cream. And we just wanted to see, like, show me that this works. That was it. It's like, show me that this works. They had tons of content, video testimonials, unboxing videos, people that had their conditions treated, but they weren't showing that content in any way. They initially were using YouTube, but YouTube was a page speed killer. And that's when they came to us, and it's like, look, we load almost 10 times faster in terms of script size than YouTube. Much better mobile experience, since all of their users were coming from mobile. We leveraged those video pop-ups. Why our customer love us? Such a simple, straightforward technique with auto-playable video. It was insane. And then they have like content everywhere. If you go to their website, it's absolutely everywhere, and it works. They haven't changed anything in the 1 year since. They just update the content, and maybe we experiment on some new landing pages or new lines of product that they're launching, but the implementation stays the same. So the takeaway from this one is, if you're having a product that's solving a problem, clearly show that it works, clearly show the happy customers that are using it. Yes, Aaron. Yeah, okay. I thought you wanted to ask something. Another amazing brand that we've tested and we went through intensive testing is the Hype True Classic, Hype of the Year, probably. Like, this is one of the fastest growing brands. Amazing team behind this company. They were using a different Shopify app before, video-wise, wasn't performing that well. They were using Vimeo, wasn't performing that well. And then they talked to us, and we did A/B testing, and wouldn't you know it, they've seen a bump in their conversion rate. And the way that they're leveraging their UGC is in a very creative way. They actually use these video stories that we have in Video-wise, and they've placed them in portrait mode underneath the Add to Cart button. It looks pretty small in this screenshot. Highly recommend you go to True Classic on their product pages. They used Video-wise bulk distribution on over 800 product pages. So on all of their product pages, you're going to see different stories. And that they were able to do that with just a few clicks. But massive brand, significant results. We were extremely happy to service them, and we're doing the same this year. So all they've done with this content, like in terms of content strategy, it was a mix of Instagram type of like influencer videos, but also in-house production where they were just showing it, because this is where where we believe the increase came from. If you just look at those photos, usually when you look at an apparel brand, it's some sort of a model. And of course, the clothes are going to look great on that guy because he's getting paid to look great, and they're going to look perfect. But True Classic, we're like, okay, let's show the real guys in those videos. Let's show, the dead bodies. Let's show people, with average bodies like you and I, like everyone else. And it's like, okay, and in all of those videos, it's mostly showing, this is True Classic. It looks great on my body, and I don't have a six-pack. And this is some average t-shirt. It doesn't look great on me anymore. So it's like they were always showing your classic t-shirt, True Classic t-shirt, how it's tight on the arms, and all of that. Like, basically they were just communicating the value proposition. And I think there was a typo in my title. That's my mistake. It was about value proposition, True Classic, not how it works. But we can move on to the next one, Aaron. This is another beauty brand. This is Dr. Dennis Gross. It's a medium-sized brand, but they have amazing video production, amazing branding overall throughout their entire site. We power the entire video infrastructure, from like their video banners, background videos in the hero, absolutely everywhere. But the main takeaway in the past year was a 17% increase in overall site conversion, but also 7% AOV, but also the time that increased, people like how they spend time on site. So the time on site increased quite significantly after we started introducing these video quizzes. And this was the main game changer. We were already seeing great results with them, was okay. But as soon as we started introducing these video quizzes, what we noticed was like almost doubling the time that people started spending time on site. And we also started leading people towards a purchasing decision or to a more comprehensive quiz, like, for example, an Okendo quiz, because these were just some introductory quizzes. They were basically guiding people towards a shopping journey or towards a conversion funnel. So the main takeaway on this one was, if you're a founder, speak up for your brand, show yourself on that website. If you have some sort of medical or specialist authority that can guarantee for your brand, that can guarantee for your product's value proposition, put them in front of your website and leverage that persona, because it's definitely like people are going to watch the content. If you give them a great platform to actually watch content, they're going to spend time watching content. On average, we're seeing about 3 videos per shopper that are being watched at a completion rate of about 75%, which is like people are watching the content. Like give it to them in a great way to see it, and they're going to watch it. So I just wanted to share these 4 use cases. Very simple, very straightforward. Everyone has content. And if you do nothing else, even if you don't use video-wise, you already have video, look at these brands, how they use it on site, and use it in the same way on yours as well. What it will happen is it's definitely going to have an impact on your overall site conversion. And you can continue using it even after the holiday season, even after BFCM is done. This sells while you sleep. So it's nonstop working for you.
What's so perfect about that as we move into to our questions is, so one of the things that's been haunting me is True Classics has never approached me to create content for them. And I think, and now I finally know it's because my body is too good. And so I can take away all of the beef that I had with them. Thank you for repairing that relationship. All right, I'm going to make sure I've got the Q&A panel queued up for myself as well. If you want to drop some question in there, go for it. We did get a number as we were leading up to this. So I've got a few that came in previously, and this is actually one that keeps pouring in. I think it's that whole thing of like the one thing. And it's a twofer of what is the most underrated Black Friday tactic and what's the most overrated. So most underrated Black Friday tactic and most overrated. I'm going to toss this over to you, Blake, with some unspoken expectations about this. Actually had something really to do with what you were talking about and what I said I wanted to come back to. That's why I'm so keyed in on this.
Yeah, I think to come up, but I'll talk to what I think you're asking about that's really underrated is thinking about ways that you can grow AOV tastefully. And to me, that becomes just offering things that are no-brainers for a customer to add to their cart. So like in the case of like BlendJet, for them, it's like, hey, you're already here. Like, why not add all these products to your cart to just make it much easier for you to experience like the end product, the end result, the lifestyle that you're trying to sell. I often see a lot of upsell strategies, even back to my agency days of like, well, let's just slam like 5 more hero products in their face. But like, you know, a customer might be only buying for themselves. If you don't have zero party, they didn't know like what they're doing. You know, as Lindsay was kind of talking about too, like there's just ways that intelligently you can figure out like what's that ideal customer like cart supposed to look like. And then if you can get products in there, like it's a slam dunk for the brand, but also the customer experience. I do want to touch on too, because I think what you were saying additionally with transactional, that's another one that's really underlooked as well. I just can't speak highly enough of transactional messaging as like a great way to do like customer experience, retarget a shopper back to your site with the tracking page, like all the benefits that it unlocks. I just think that like it's often overlooked. Like we're obsessed with revenue, but we're not always obsessed with like the customer experience. So I think transactional to me hits on like all of those in a really great way too.
We've got a question that was asked specifically of Lindsay, and I actually want to bring this back up because I think this is a really pointed question when you're thinking about that high intent activity time of the holidays. But anyone else with overrated, underrated? This is where I'm looking for the hot takes. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
Happy to do. I mean, Yarden, if you want to go.
No, go for it, Clive.
I'm gonna go for like just a quick advice that I see a lot of people doing, and we've been testing this last year, and we spoke with a lot of brands as an overrated technique, which is overly discounting. I think it's more important to protect your brand, to protect your reputation, than to overly discount your products and try to have like this aggressive move for BFCM. There's so many other ways that you can think about this, like bundling, like I don't know. You can get really creative if you start thinking about it, but it's so overrated to like provide these super high discounts for everything because there is life after Black Friday. So you shouldn't dilute that brand value. You should think more of like long term. This is just one night. It's gonna happen like that weekend. That's it. It's gone. So like, what do you do then? You know, you've people are gonna see like, wait a second, they're selling these products for like 50% discount or like, you know, why would you buy it? You know, when it's full price. But if you use other techniques like bundling or just other techniques, this one is I've seen it work really well in clients like Dr. Squatch, and they're extremely creative with what they do. I think you're going to have a better long-term profits overall, and profit margins. Because when you hit those high discounts, your profit margins are going to drop like really significant, and you should think more about profit. But yeah, I just wanted to share that there.
I think I can marry those two. That idea of like AOV, yes, but are we just trying to jam more products at people? That's not how AOV works. As well as that other side of there's other ways than just pure, or especially pure raising the discount across the site or on, say, select SKUs up to, right? Nothing's more disappointing for me as a shopper than up to and coming to discover that like, oh, I don't want any of these things, right? You talked about bundles, pre-built bundles that actually order by price point, the highest discount off the most costly, what I want to get into my customers' hands. Large sizes, large SKU collections, but pre-built bundles tiered based on price threshold and then matching discounts for those. So if you spend more, you get more. That's the idea. Same thing, not just on bundles, but also gift with purchase is a big one.
Yeah.
Have tiered levels of gift with purchase, which you unlock as far as the small size, the regular, or the large off of a product you really know people like. That's a great way to do, and also very margin protecting gift with purchase, or simply the 25% site-wide, and then a built at the cart level and in the header plus the ads of cross the threshold of 300, 30%, cross the threshold of 400, 35%, where you're constantly pushing not more new products, that sort of thing, but experiences that make it really easy to unlock that next level and also purchase more to get more. So you feel like you're winning. Now, Yarden, I'm sure you're going to say exactly that, but did you have you sounded like you had an underrated, overrated?
Yeah, I had a quick underrated one where the fact that just I think timing is not thought about enough. Like I think people think they're really planning all the time on what the discount will be, what products they'll discount, what the creatives will be. But timing in this period is super important, because if you go too late, a lot of the customers have already spent the dollars that they were going to spend in this holiday, and they're not going to purchase as much with you. And if you go too early, then it's like not in their mindset of even they're in the buying season. So you need to really time it right, both from when customers are ready to buy, and when they're not flooded with with other promotions and they already had bought. So it's a very sensitive thing to get it right, and it really moves the needle if you do.
Timing and order of discount or offer. Offer's a way better word than discount. Order of offer, sequencing those to match the different types of customers that are looking when they're looking. Now, I did want to go back to this one because Lindsay, you already actually answered this question really well about when's the best time to ask somebody to take a quiz. I wanted to come back to that though, because I actually had that same thought in my mind of like, really, I'm going to put a quiz in the way of just someone coming to buy during Black Friday. I say that with as much disdain as I can. Talk about that though, because you actually dropped a really great answer.
Yeah. So I think the thing with quizzes that you have to remember is it's a conversion driver. So the end result of a quiz is that this customer is going to get a product recommendation that is basically a guided shopping experience to their needs, and then directly have like that add to cart CTA right there so that they can quickly check out with that recommendation. So again, if you're thinking Black Friday, Cyber Monday, especially as it relates to, people that are trying your product for the first time, I think that's a huge thing where like, I know for myself, there are certain brands right now that like, I'm probably the worst person in e-commerce because I shop the way that I tell everyone not to, but like, I'm going to wait to try that brand to see if they have that discount or that sale, because I don't want to commit, and knowing that there's such a potentially huge like promotional period, whether or not you give into that, like certain brands will be like, oh, okay, they didn't do Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but I was waiting anyway, so I'm going to buy them, right? So it's so important that like for that first impression, again, quizzes can work for existing customers for that AOV, for that upsell as well. But like when someone's new to your brand or new to like a product line that you're offering, it's really important to get them to that right product and to make sure. So I think if anything, like use the quiz as like an engagement tool. Use it as something to say like, do you want to try it out? Like, here's how we can get you to the right product. Try it out, do this. I think it's more just like an extra layer that you're going to have that's going to increase your conversion on that day. yeah, I mean, I think overall it's sure there's a lot going on in your site, but it's just going to increase conversion. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not really going to take away at the end of the day. It's just adding more to your website.
Now it's vertical product specific, right? Like that's one of the things I loved about with a really high SKU count for something like home goods. Yeah, oh my goodness, right? Where there's variance on variance on variance inside of this already really large SKU count. But you're so freaking right about it's not you, right? This is the mode we go into. I've been thinking about a particular brand, a particular product for the last 2-3 months. And now I'm in that mode of like, I'm waiting for the deal to drop. I want to get the best option, especially if it's something new, because it's a beautiful 2-for-1 on that front. But I also like, I know Bamboo Earth immediately comes to mind, skincare brand, where their entire acquisition strategy is quiz dependent. Like, and it just crushes. So obviously it's a bit of like, you got to make sure it's the right fit for what you're actually selling. But that you're right. It's a conversion accelerator, not a detractor, especially for anything that's building trust.
Yeah. And I'd say a few different things like for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, an interesting thing we've been toying around with is can you do like a gift quiz? So like what's the right gift for someone that you're buying for? And then other opportunities, just going back to like the AOV is like, you don't have to offer a single product. You can offer a bundle. You can offer like, here's one product or a routine, right? Going back to skincare, you could actually say like, hey, it's not just this one cleanser you might like, but you might like the cleanser and the moisturizer and this, and here's 4 products that are going to work together and give you that. So again, just interesting things to think about as it relates to the quiz to that point. It's just going to help you on Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
And guess what? This recommended bundle just for you, you can buy the double XL size for even bigger. It goes back to AOV and it goes back to then we can justify a higher discount for that. I love the way that this comes together. Okay, so there was strict digital this was actually a really good one. We got one in here for the right time and okay, the right time. Jordan, you just spent all this time thinking about it. Talk to us about that right time.
Yeah, I wrote there a couple of things that I would do. The first is I'd go last year and I'd look at when my competitors ran their offers and when they sent out their big discount emails, like their big Black Friday emails, and then I would try to. That's the first thing, and the second thing is I'd go into Veros and look at the past couple years when my competitors had increased their ad spend, like what days they started really pushing up their ad spend. And once I triangulated between those two and I had a good idea of this year when these offers would come out, I would try to time it that I come out a day or two before them, not a lot more, but like a day or two before then, and push it their offers. That's what I would do.
That's the stickiest part. What you just said there about those, like it's those two extremes of the before, how soon is too soon, late, how far can we push into December? And a lot of that's going to be very dependent on shipping cutoffs for your actual brand itself. Yeah. But there are phenomenal arbitrage moments when people pull back significantly and folks are still purchasing. We saw this every year in the data when I was working in the agency side at Common Thread Collective, where there's this really special moment post-Christmas, before New Year, where everyone just, the big advertisers pull back and you can swoop in and people are still in that mode of purchasing. And, you know, the cost per acquisition, cost per purchase, these things just tumble. Now, conversion rate goes down as well, right? So you're leaning into almost an antithetical moment, but that's what I talk about as an arbitrage moment, is if you're willing to be there and put in the effort for it to match that moment, there's a lot of value that can be captured and realized. So it's those two ends that I really think the wider picture of data helps the most with, because we're all going to spend during the big moments, but it's when do I start? When do I end? How far can I push? What's the right? Now, we did get a question about strictly digital products on the site, product partnerships. I wonder if, because I'm thinking about video-wise in particular, on the idea of using digital products. Anything to provide there for guidance?
Absolutely. We're working with over 1,000 brands, and we have very few indeed that are selling digital products, but the ones that are, what they're leveraging are just video testimonials. So I know a few that are selling these courses online, and what they leverage really well over there is video testimonials, just clients that have purchased the courses, took the courses, and they were very happy with it. That just adds that layer of social proof when it comes to that digital product that you're selling. If we also have some NFT companies that are selling like these video NFTs, and we're powering those video NFTs. So if you're selling like a digital product, like anything related to like 3D or video NFTs, we basically powered that entire video infrastructure. But in the case of those type of brands, what they really value is the fast page speed with video eyes. So rather than like hard coding an MP4 on their page, or that could be pretty heavy, or using anything like YouTube or Vimeo, that's not, it's not a great mobile experience, page speed not that well either. They're leveraging more of that rather than thinking about like a conversion rate optimizer or for increasing time on site. They just care about like, okay, I got a gallery of like these digital products. They have to load fast. They're all videos, like make it load fast. So that's how they leverage video eyes. I hope I answered that question. It
That
seems
is a great one to end on, because I got all excited. I think this is when you thought I had something to say, but I just get too excited about certain things. That nod toward, as someone who has literally fought with YouTube scripts to try to improve load time on mobile, that is no joke, especially during high volume seasons. Ah, my goodness. Well, I want to say thank you so much to thanks to everyone that joined us today, whether you're here on camera, dropping us the questions, some encouraging comments I saw come along the way. If we didn't get to anything, feel free to @ any of us on the Twitters, or X us now on the X. LinkedIn, we're available there as well. You're going to get a replay of this. And quick change, we've decided we're not going to be hosting tomorrow's event. Some of you may have an invite on your calendar for it right now. Instead, you're going to get an invitation tomorrow to a week from tomorrow, an absolute banger lineup of 15 of my favorite D2C brands who are going to be joining us for the ultimate one thing, wrap it all up marathon panel. So keep an eye out in your inbox for that, along with the replay. Again, big thanks to my illustrious co-stars. Round of applause, and we'll see you on the next one thing.